Here we're at Silvaterra Farms. We started this project 3 years ago. It was bare soil fields, and we decided we wanted to put this into a perennial polyculture agroforestry / keyline type of project. And what we're standing in here is one of the swales. So we've borrowed some Australian technology. We've installed a number of swales on this property, not too many, but probably about half a dozen of them. And they're meant to collect water and divert water on certain strategies in certain ways to overall help to harvest and retain water in the soil over time. The whole field is perennial, mixed cool season grasses and legumes, and we are gradually planting trees along both some of these berms along the swales as well as dedicated tree rows that are not on swales. And over time we're going to have an agroforestry, silvopasture, conservation, wildlife / food forest type of system that is becoming more popular in agriculture and environment these days. The main valley in this field, it's a broad, gentle valley that starts up here and extends right down to where that ravine or that forest and ravine is there. And so we constructed the swale to basically turn around here, basically, and cross the valley. This is where the swale crosses the valley, and that's sort of the apex or the hairpin turn of the swale. So on either side, it follows the adjacent ridges on contour, slightly off contour, so we can move the water in the direction we want. At this point, any water that comes down here collects here and either goes this way or that way, depending on where the water's going specifically. Okay, where you'll see the hairpin turn is, the pond, this is the lowest point. So water goes from there to here, water goes from there to here and collects here. Oh. So you can see this is wet, it's working. Yeah. When we had frost, the water was making its way to this low spot here. And so the intention was to have this to be a little bit of a sort of a hanging area where water would collect and hang, but because we have permeable soils, the water doesn't really overflow here because the berms are high enough, and it infiltrates into the soil here, eventually down into there. Whereas it would normally run off the land possibly at a faster rate. So, okay, these are hazelnut trees that we got from the University of Oregon. These are their blight-resistant varieties. Yamhill is one variety. I don't remember all the names. We put these in and we mulched the rows. We did not protect them from deer at all, and so I knew that we were going to get some damage, rubbing went off the deer, but because these trees have a propensity to coppice, we're pretty certain about the longer term survival of them as long as we keep working with trying to keep the deer out somehow and have them grow at a faster rate. You'll be able to put equipment between the rows, yeah, but you're going to follow
4 rows planted on contour.
So you can see here, basically I'll just cut that off. A clean cut. Yeah, and that'll come up, and they'll just keep coppicing off these spots, and we'll pick a leader. And I don't know what we're gonna do. I think eventually we are gonna have to fence this off if we want to have better success. At least this plot, anyway. But you can raise the water level of your pond right up to here, so it creates a dam. So basically, another name for these is called whistle tube, a whistle tube or a inline dam, basically. So these pull out. So this lever. These two are in backwards. Whoever put those in.
I was going to say you got to go down lower by the looks of things.
Well, there's the hook there, yeah. So I'll get them out, but basically these pull up. Yeah. We put these in backwards, so I can get them out. I just have to pull a little bit harder. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother doing it.
Slip
I'll
off.
just keep it.
Yeah.
Basically, we're at a location over here. If you point your camera over there, that is the key point. Okay, right below that pipe, right where the apex of this swale is, where it does a hairpin turn. That's the key point, approximately the key point of this valley. And the key point is where water re-enters the surface from the groundwater further up. That's where your wettest spot is. So this is a key point swale, and this time of year we got water coming into the swale from the key point from areas upstream. Plus there might be a little bit of seepage on that dam. We're not sure. We're going to check into it. But basically, this swale is holding water right now, and instead of shooting down into the valley below, it is sitting here and slowly infiltrating into this berm below. And you'll see on this berm right over here, and I'll jump across here, right here. You'll see right here on this berm, we have just planted elderberries. We have hundreds of elderberries planted wherever you see this fresh hay that we've put on the ground. So this is old hay, so it's a good use of old hay instead of straw, because hay has more nutrients. It has nitrogen, phosphorus, and carbon, as opposed to mostly carbon and potassium in straw. So it's a more fertile type of mulch to use. So it's a good use of old hay that's gone bad that you can't sell. And so we've mulched this area first, and then we went in after, and we planted these cuttings, these elderberry cuttings that we actually got locally. These are all local wild varieties of